Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Today we've got another episode of retro gaming news and additions for you guys. Just got back from holiday, went to Portugal with the family for the first time. First family abroad holiday, was really nice. Gave me some time to think and gave me a lot more ideas for the channel, which was really nice. Nice to just have that chill time sometimes. The little one was really good. Gave us lots of time to ourselves, which was great. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into the news. So there's only 3 pieces of news this past month or so, but I think you guys are going to be really interested in every single piece of it. So the first one, actually, the source of this news was from Castlemania Games, which is an American shop that sell mods for old consoles mainly. They sent me an email saying that they've now got a product which is for the GameCube, as you've seen behind me, which is a OEM style replacement for the controller ports on the front of the GameCube, but you remove the old one, put the new one in, and this one has Bluetooth inbuilt. This means you can then use Bluetooth enabled controllers instead of, say, the Wavebirds, and it has compatibility with most Bluetooth controllers. And this is really cool to see because there are a lot of cheaper Bluetooth Switch style controllers that would work really nicely with the GameCube, and I believe it's retailing for about £86. Obviously you've got to incorporate import tax into that cost as well, as well as delivery. I think Castlemania generally charge about $30 to the UK. But yeah, it's on pre-orders now, and I'll leave a link for that below. I think it's a really well-made product. Judging by the specs of it, you can sort of there are 4 controller ports on the GameCube, but if you insert a wired controller, say, or the Wavebird, it will detect that and shuffle the sort of Bluetooth controllers along the slots, so it sort of prioritizes the wired controllers, and then you can have a mix of controllers if you like, which I thought was really nice functionality. But yeah, I am definitely thinking of getting that mod, and will keep you informed if I purchase it. So the second piece of news is something that's not actually released yet, but something I saw on Instagram, which I follow quite closely. There's a modder called Angry Helder who makes a variation of mods for Game Boys and stuff like that. But he came up with, there is basically, earlier this year, the Raspberry Pi Foundation said you can buy our chip for the Raspberry Pi Pico, which is just a tiny little chip. I think it's called the RP2040, and it costs $1 for the chip. And that is a very cheap, cost-effective CPU, and he has incorporated that chip into a memory card solution for the PS1 and the PS2. There are currently solutions available for that already. The MemCard Pro springs to mind, but I believe that released at about £80 mark, and I believe it's still about £50. But he believes that this new memory card will be a lot more cost efficient, which will be nice to see. So you'll be able to get a memory card for your PS1 and 2 that takes micro SDs, firmware upgradable, can load ROMs from it if you're running FreeMUC boot and things like that on your PS2, or your X Station on the PS1 if you've got a DODE for that. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting to see, the fact that he thought he would definitely be able to sort of half the price of the MemCard Pro. So I'll keep you guys informed on that one as well. So lastly in the news is a sort of Kickstarter upgrade to a controller that I already own. So this is by Retro Fighters again. Retro Fighters are going to be a common theme in this episode, as you'll see a little bit later. But they've released a Kickstarter to sort of do a V2 upgrade of their N64 Brawler controller. This is the V1 that I have. This is for my sort of ICE N64 I have behind me. And basically the V2 version is going to have Switch compatibility as well as the N64. Just makes it a bit more useful controller for some people. Obviously makes the V1 not as good, but to be honest, I use a Switch Pro controller anyway, so it's not really a big deal for me. But if you haven't bought an N64 wireless controller, this is definitely one to go for, because they'll have all of the fantastic colorways as options when you buy it. Retro Fighters are a pretty safe bet when you go for Kickstarter. I don't think they've ever failed a backing sort of thing. So yeah, I'm interested to see that. But yeah, it's going to be nice to see how they do it in terms of changing between sort of the N64 control way and the Switch, which is slightly different, obviously. But yeah, that's the news, guys, and we're going to move on to the additions now. So this is covering sort of the last half of August up to the end of September, really. I've actually been to quite a few retro game shops, which was actually really nice to do before the holiday. So yeah, I went to Hidden Chest for the first time. Hidden Chest is very near to Vintage Gamer in Halesowen, but like southwest of Birmingham. Did initially try and meet Russ Retro Bear and Sean Retro Games Revived there from TMB, but they were just having a very long tea break. But yeah, I went along to Hidden Chest, and I didn't actually pick up that much stuff myself, but the wife picked up more than I did. So yeah, I'll quickly show you that, guys. So the wife picked up is trying to sort of fill out her Lara Croft / Tomb Raider collection. So she got 2 PS3 titles, the Tomb Raider sort of reboot that is on the PS4 as well, and Tomb Raider Underworld, which I don't really know anything about, but she doesn't have it. The only other PS3 game she's got for Lara Croft or Tomb Raider is the Trilogy collection. But yeah, she enjoys that one, so she's keen to get stuck into those. I think they were very reasonably priced. That's something I forgot to mention, is it's run by Danester, who's a YouTuber as well. Very friendly guy. Never actually met him in person before, but yeah, he'll do you a good deal on toys and games, depending on how much you buy, and you can sort of barter with him a little bit, which is nice to see. And that's exactly what I did on this product. This is for myself. I've been keeping an eye out for one of these for quite a while, just because they're a nice thing to have for multiplayer games. Yeah, it'd be nice to play with the family in a few years' time. So that's a official Sony PS2 multi-tap, and as you can see, it's in very, very nice condition, and that's because it came in a box. The box had a bit of damage. I don't know if it's just been sort of kept to keep its value a little bit more, but I wasn't really fussed on the box anyway. It only cost me £12, which I know for a fact is quite cheap. And I've already tested it, and it works absolutely perfectly with my PlayStation 2, even though I don't have a 70,000 series PS2 or Fatfear PS2. But yeah, it just works with any PS2 basically. Yeah, really pleased to get that, and that sort of leads me on to a pickup that I couldn't wait to get in the post. This has been a long time coming, and I've been chatting to you guys about it for quite a while. So that is the Retro Fighters Defender controllers. This is for the PS1, 2 and 3, as you can see, and these are the actual controllers. They are incredible, really, really light in your hand, sort of very similar weight to the PS3 controller, but I think that they're actually more comfortable than the PS3 controller. I have USB-C and some function buttons at the top. Really, really nice triggers. The buttons are really nice. The D-pad is quite soft, but I actually prefer that, and been playing them on the PS2 and the PS3. I should mention that, as you can see behind me, you see this grey dongle in the PS3. That is a plug and play for the PS3. So I was expecting to have to do some sort of config with them. So yeah, I plugged in the dongle just out of interest to see if it worked with the PS3 straight away. And sure enough, it just synced instantly. There's a little sync button on the back of the controller. But yeah, a plug-and-play solution for the PS3, and I honestly prefer it over the DualShock or 6-axis free controller. And yeah, it comes with the PS2 compatible transmitter as well, and that was really nice to put that in the PS2, and again that just works out the box, syncs instantly. There will be a full review on that controller. I did actually buy 2 of them because I wanted them so much, and wanted one for the wife as well, sort of thing. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with those. I think they cost me about £85 for both in the end, including shipping. It's from a company called Games Connection. I'll leave a link for that down in the description if you want that as well. They sell them in grey for the PlayStation 1 as well. I haven't actually tried it on the PS1. One thing to note is they don't work fully with the PlayStation Classic. They do work with the PS Classic, but you can't use the analog sticks yet for some reason. There may be a firmware upgrade for this at some point, but at the moment that's not something that will work, which was kind of a killer for me using it on the PS Classic at the moment, but just as happy to have them in use for the PS2 and 3. So where do we go next? Well, I bought some stuff from Doorway to Dorkness quite a while ago in person, and as I mentioned on a previous episode, they have now got a website, and I was looking for some games. So first off is Worms 3D. This is quite a cheap game on the PS2. I think it was only £3, but box complete as usual. Team 17 and Sega game. Yeah, can't wait to play that. But the reason I bought it was because I realised how much I love that style of game, and that is because of this game, Hogs of War. Voiced by Rick Mail for a lot of it, and mentioned in my sort of games I regularly come back to, and this is always on it. Really enjoying playing through it at the moment. I think I'm on the 3rd island on sort of mission 14 at the moment. But yeah, because I bought it from Doorway to Dorkness website, he was able to send me sort of some nice photos of the inserts and the discs and stuff, which I highly recommend you do if you're looking for a product that you don't necessarily see too often. And Hogs of War definitely is one of those games that you don't see very often in game shops. It sells for about £25, and yeah, they just go like that. They're really sought after. Really fun game, and I've been sinking some proper hours into it in the last month or so. But yeah, thanks for that, James. Highly recommend the Doorway to Dorkness website. I have had a few comments, some from, I think one was from Retro Ed, just saying the website needs a little bit of work, and that is true. But yeah, it's still functional and good enough, and if you message the owner, he will be more than happy to help you with products that you want to purchase. Okay, so I think lastly is a couple of sort of gifts. Oh wow, actually there's only one gift. So it was my wife and I's 5-year anniversary since we met at the start of September, and she knew I wanted this, so bought me the Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which I've not played before, and is an incredible sort of co-op game from what I hear. We always like playing co-op games together, so that's a really nice one to get. No, I actually got the cart in it at the moment because it's in the Switch. We've been playing that together quite a lot and really enjoying it. Yeah, we've only sort of played about an hour or two so far. But yeah, can't wait to sink some more hours into that one. It is a really well made Switch game, and I think it has up to 4 players as well if you've got a bigger family. Okay, so penultimately is rather stupidly from doing a video recently, I realised I didn't even have this RPG game, which I definitely had, but I must have just sold it before I started collecting. And that is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. So they had the PS4 Re-Reckoning version a few years ago that I have the collector's edition of, but there is no collector's edition of the PS3 version. And for some reason I did not have it in the PS3 collection, but I managed to get it for £1 on eBay. And if you're into your PS3, you can't go wrong for £1. One of the best RPGs for the PS3 ever made. Way better than Skyrim, I would go to say. Stu will hate me for saying that. But yeah, that's just, I won't go too much into that because I've talked about that game a lot in the past. And then finally, just before we went on holiday last Thursday or Friday, we went to Retro Games HQ in Swindon, Pete, and just on our way to Heathrow because it was sort of halfway to the halfway to Heathrow basically. And the wife picked up more games than me again. It's becoming a common theme with trying to fill out her Lara Croft collection. So she got the collector's edition of Tomb Raider Anniversary for the PS2. Really nice condition this. I think she picked it up for about £15, which again I think is a bargain. And it has soundtracks and bonus DVD as well as the game. As you can see on the side there. Oh, it was actually £20. But Pete has it in mint condition, and the discs look like they've barely been used. And then she managed to get Tomb Raider Legend on the DS. So we've got a few DSs, or 3DSs for this to be played on. But that was only £4 complete, so she just could not turn that down. And then finally is a game that I've been looking for myself for quite a while, but not been able to find a good price for it. I was only originally going to get cart only, but this was only £15 or $14.99, and that's Worms Armageddon on the Game Boy Color. So the Game Boy Color is a console I love playing. Can't wait to play more of them on the Analog Pocket once I get it. But yeah, this was box complete for £15, which if you look at eBay rates is very, very good. Has a really nice condition manual and cartridge inside. I won't bother pulling that out for you guys, but I've got a box protector on it now just because Nintendo cardboard. But yeah, I love Worms Armageddon. I haven't actually got the PS1 version yet, but I've told the wife that'd be a great one to get for Christmas because the PS1 version is the one I remember most fondly. But thought I'd just get this for handheld purposes basically. So yeah, that is it guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it's been quite a long one this time. Don't have many plans for the next few weeks when it comes to going to retro game shops, but I'm sure there will be at least one visit in the next month or so. But yeah, really enjoying getting back into YouTube, and haven't had as much time as I'd like recently to do episodes like this, but I've got a lot of ideas on the back burner. As I mentioned, there will be a review for the Retro Fighters Defender controller coming very soon, and yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers.